Alright, hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the video, Tower Fantasy. My name is SGN. Listen, I'm back with another ToF commentary, right? So, here's the thing, right? Let me start this video by saying that, I want to do more of these, like, commentaries, and I feel like if I'm good enough at them, there'll be an audience for it, right? Because I've watched other people play video games, and I might not necessarily, be wowed by their gameplay or just like the game. I just like the commentary and hear what they talk about, the different topics they talk about. So hopefully you guys enjoy it, and this is something that we can like build and grow together, this sort of community for the ToF commentary, and then maybe grow to some different games when something else come out, or when new stuff for this game comes out, we can talk about that as well. So I wanted to pick a topic for today that I feel like a lot of people will comment on in the comment section, because I gotta be honest with you, man, I have been loving the crap out of waking up every morning now and reading the comments, because I come from like this, the last game I played really, where I had a community, it was super toxic, and it was just a bunch of kids that just wanted to be better than me or wanted to say I was trash or whatever. So I never really, liked reading the comments, and I forgot like why I really started doing this. It was to connect to the community. Somebody even came into my stream one day and said, he doesn't really care about you guys, he just cares about the money. That couldn't be, that's the furthest from the truth. I want to create, I want to have a community, but at the same time, I don't want a toxic community, because I have said in the past where, I'm done making a community because it just turns toxic. But if I can get a positive community, people that are like-minded, that will just be supportive or whatever, I would love that. I would actually absolutely love that. So, the topic that I want to talk about, you can see it sort of on the title, and it's basically this. What are the 5 things that Tower Fantasy does better than Genshin Impact? I know in like the past week, it's just been nothing on this channel but just ragging on Tower Fantasy, so I was like, let's just change it up a little bit and talk about some of the good things that Tower Fantasy did. And there are a few things. All right, so the first thing that I thought of was character creation. And this comes this inspired me this morning. I read a comment from a viewer. Actually, it was a reply to the comment that I read yesterday that really inspired me to get up and make the Coco Ritter build or whatever. And somebody replied to that comment, and they were talking about the character creation, and they were basically saying how they really enjoyed the character creation. They're girls or whatever like that. No, gender doesn't have anything to do with it, but basically you can read the comment for yourself. So I was thinking about this, like, what is it that I like, oh my god, I'm so retarded, I can't talk. What is it that I like more about this game that I like than Tower Fantasy? And I like the ability to create a character, and I think a lot of people in video games, they also do like the opportunity that they can create a character and play as their character, right? Because whenever I play a video game, while I like the CAC stuff, more like the not create character, but I like the cast character stuff more. Like, I can pick out a character. If the character creation is really good, I would love to create my character. I really don't feel like this game has a super good character creation, but they do have a decent character creation when it comes to making female characters, right? And I've seen some people make some really cool female characters. The reason why I say it's not a great character creation, because the male models are really, really bad. You can't really do anything. At least, I don't know, for me, they look really bad. I like a specific type of character when I make a male character. You see, I like to use the Crow Simulacra, because I think the Crow Simulacra looks so cool. So this is probably, if I were to make a character, it looks similar to this. Just a bunch of weapons hanging off of him, stuff like that. Looks like a mercenary. But you can't really do that with the character creation in this game. But for sure, some of the female characters that I've seen, bro, they look so good, and it makes me want to maybe I should just go ahead, go all in, make a really pretty female character, whatever like that, because that's never been my thing, just to play a female character in these games. But character creation for sure, and it's only better because Genshin Impact just doesn't have it. You get to play it as the traveler, as the main character, and I don't know if I really, I don't know. I switch up. I use Kazuha. That's the character that I use, and it sucks that you have to use Kazuha's weapon to be Kazuha, you know what I mean? So, another thing that I like about this game that Tower Fantasy does better than Genshin Impact, and that's gonna be the multiplayer, right? There is multiplayer in Genshin Impact, but it's not, it's okay, but it's not super good. The only thing I can say good about Genshin Impact multiplayer is that you can play with other people, up to 3 people on the same map, and there's no tether. You know, you can just kind of, you know, go to other games that are multiplayer like that, where you're with your teammates, there's a tether. You can't really stray too far away from the people that are playing with you. But this is an MMO game, and they do allow you to play with other people. So I think that aspect of it is cool. You know, I just think they need to do more MMO. Now, I'm not going to talk about what they do bad, because that's going to be a whole nother topic that I'm going to make. There's somebody, actually, I think his name is Riley. He left some really, really cool insights in the comment section, bro. And I just really, I don't know. There's a lot more that I wanted to say about the comments when I was thinking about making this video, and I just can't think of them. So as they like come to my mind, I'll probably say them or whatever. But no, for certainty, this guy Riley, he was just talking at length about what an MMO game should be, and I'm probably going to make a separate video about that probably later on this week, and we can commentate. I just want to see these commentary videos sort of do well, so I can do more of them. But yeah, multiplayer I think is really good in this game. I don't really like the multiplayer in Genshin Impact, because a lot of times in Genshin Impact, when you get like other people that you're playing with, they don't have a healer. Like I saw something on Twitter where people were like defending people who play whatever they want in like the different game modes. And I just remember when I was playing Genshin Impact and we were, you know, doing like specific like missions or whatever like that, there were only a few characters that I felt comfortable using, and I felt really comfortable using Zhongli in like anything because he couldn't die. And people were like, in that post on Twitter, they were like really like pissed that people would use Zhongli. You know what I mean? I'm like, what do you mean? Zhongli is the most overpowered character. He's got shields. He can't die. I don't... Because the worst thing in Genshin Impact is when you're doing those little domains or whatever, and you die, and somebody else has to pick up your slack, and it's like, oh, I died. You know, and then you sit there spamming the chat with your little happy emojis or whatever like that. I hate that in Genshin Impact. So, because people rarely put healers. You know what I mean? That's another thing, too. People don't build healers in that game, or at least when I played, they weren't building healers. They relied on you to do the healing. So I think this game's a little bit better for multiplayer than Genshin Impact. There's a lot more you can do for the multiplayer in this game that you can't do in Genshin Impact, because it is an MMO. Well, it's a bad MMO. It's still an MMO, and the multiplayer is really good. Another thing, this is the thing that I really thought of, and I really racked my brain about this. Like, I really had to like put like, what is it that this game actually does better than Genshin Impact? And the deal breaker for me with Genshin Impact is whenever a new character comes out, this thing sucks so much, right? New character comes out, you have to grind the materials to level up that character. And the same can't be said for Tower of Fantasy. All you gotta do is get a few different, oh shucks, am I gonna die? Am I gonna die here? You get a few different things or whatever, and you can level your character up, like the weapon badges, whatever, and they aren't hard to get. But, I mean, if you don't have, like, the resources to get them, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can save, if you know a character's coming out, you can save up the resources, and when that character comes out, you can level it up or whatever, when that weapon comes out, for Tower of Fantasy, that is. But you can't do the same for, like, for Genshin Impact. And it always bothered me in Genshin Impact where you had to like grind for the stuff for it to come up, and then if there was a new zone that comes out, you got to go grind the new zone for the new item, or you have to fight the new like super creature for the new item or whatever like that, and you got to do that multiple times. Then you got to spend resin, then you don't have enough resin, then you got to save like the extra resin, bro. So getting a new character off the rip and trying to level it up was always sort of a headache. So I always felt like I could never use a character. Like I got the last new character that I got was Sino. I couldn't wait to get him because he was Sasuke's voice actor, you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, I can't wait to get this character. But then I got him and I realized I had to go find all these stupid little items that it spawned very rarely. Like I even had to make a video for myself so I knew the spawn locations of this item, and I just remember thinking that was just the most boring thing ever, and I never completed like building up Sino, and that was the last new character that I got that I wanted to level up, because I was like, this is a nightmare doing this. I don't want to do this. I just want to get the character, level them up, and be able to use them on my current teams without any like, you know, whatever. And I know some people, they like the whole grinding aspect. I don't like that. I want to be able to use the character that I get. I get it. It may have to level it up because it is like a weapon or whatever, but it shouldn't take a week for me to like level up my character. You know what I mean? It should take a day at most if they're gonna do that. Bro, I remember going through that stupid little forest. Well, I was trying to level up some character, and I had to find these certain mushrooms, and there was only a certain few of the mushrooms on the map at one time, and you had to, every morning I'd wake up wait for them to respawn so I could go get the mushrooms or whatever. I hate that so much. So leveling up weapons in Tower Fantasy, absolutely, probably easily the best thing that Tower Fantasy does better than Genshin Impact. Fight me on this if you want to, but it is what it is. It's the truth, and it's my truth. I'm sticking to it. All right, another thing, I've got 2 more things. Fourth thing is the Simulacra, right? And I touched on this a little bit. Like, my favorite character to use in Genshin Impact is Kazuha, because I like the way Kazuha looks. There aren't many characters that look like in a certain way that I like. Like, Kazuha looks cool. The dude that does the punches, like not the new punchy guy, but the old Heizu. I think Heizu looks really cool. So I was always like, it would be so cool if I could just be those characters like all the time without having to use their weapon. And that's something that Tower Fantasy does really well. You get to be whatever character you want and use whatever weapon you want. So I really like that aspect of Tower Fantasy, and I think Tower Fantasy does that way better than Genshin Impact for certainty. And let's see. Oh, yeah. And then the last thing, this was something that I just came up with because I was struggling to find many things that Tower Fantasy did. And it's not me talking bad about Tower Fantasy, but I was really struggling thinking about things that Tower Fantasy did better than Genshin Impact. And this is the one. And it's not even like that big. Like to Genshin Impact, they could fix this if they really wanted to. But maybe they already fixed it. You know, the last time I played it, they were trying to fix this issue, but they were not doing a very good job of it, like, at all. And it's overland movement, you know? I don't know how hard is it to give you mounts? Do they have mounts in Genshin Impact yet? Because last I played, it looked like they might have been heading towards giving us mounts. The last time I played, they were doing some things where they were just like making zip lines that you could like zip line all over the place instead of like giving you an actual like movement system. I don't know, man. It just seems like if you got a game that has this big ass map, like super huge ass map, it probably would be a good idea to give your players like mounts so they could travel the map quickly. You know, teleporters and everything is cool, but sometimes those teleporters are just not enough, especially when trying to farm these materials, bro. I remember this again when I was trying to get the mushrooms for that one character. The same thing happened. I had to like fly into a bunch of trees, and luckily if I didn't have, I had characters that had some movement like techniques on them, like what was the whoa gosh, the Archon, whoa, the Air Archon. I had him, Kazuha, he could do some little jumpy fly stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I had some characters like that, but I feel like that wasn't enough overland movement. They definitely needed some mounts so you could get from place to place. In Tower Fantasy, they nail that. They nail that all, you know. Why does this cursor keep coming up, bro? They nail that so far out of the ballpark. You get a mount that goes super fast, and you get multiple mounts. And they made a mount a part of the game, another way that you can level up and get resources to buy new characters by leveling up your mount. That is genius to me. You know, whoever came up with that aspect of it is genius. And that in and of itself, I think, is another thing that Tower Fantasy does better. That was the last thing, the overland movement. This is, bro, why does the cursor keep coming up and it won't go away? Oh my gosh. So it's like, this game also has a really great way of giving people the ability to get resources so they can wish on some characters like the Dark Crystals. Really good at that. And I don't know if Tower Fantasy or Genshin Impact is super good at that. Like, I remember like saving up all of my stuff. Here's what the thing. I was playing with a friend of mine, and I was having him do some stuff, like we were doing a PlayStation share or whatever, and I was just like, hey, yo, can you do this for me on share, because I don't want to do it. And then once he finished, I was like, hey, yo, do this. But then I said, yo, don't spend my crystals, because I'm saving those for the new character when it comes out. And he just thought that was the funniest thing in the world. And it was the truth. I was saving it for the new character, because they don't give you stuff. You know, you have to wait for them to happily send you, 300. And what's 300 going to do? You know what I mean? It's not going to do really anything to get you the character. And then when you get the character, you still got to get the constellations of the character. And then you got to get a weapon that goes, brother, you have to get a weapon that goes with the character for the character to be decent. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many things about Genshin Impact that I just thought were super predatory. However, there were still a bunch of things about Genshin Impact that, are a little bit better than Tower of Fantasy, though, I think. I don't know. So this is almost over. Down in the comments, just let me know, what are a couple things that you think that Tower of Fantasy does better than Genshin Impact? And then vice versa, what are some of the things that you think Genshin Impact does better than Tower of Fantasy? And then if you want me to make a video on that where I play Genshin Impact, you know, let me know that too, and I will play Genshin Impact and we'll have a conversation about it. Alright guys, listen, I did it. The build I was using Saki, Coco Ritter, and Yulan. Let me know what you think about that build, and if you want more information about that build, check out the video that I uploaded previously going over all the different builds that I use with Coco.